Okay, without doubt, Hughenden has won the Best Public Toilet in Australia award. That's remarkable. Congratulations, Hughenden. Ding ding. Good morning, thanks for joining me. It is a beautiful day. This morning walk, episode 87. Welcome to Hughenden in Western Queensland. And you know, when you get to the end of high school, I remember when I got to the end of high school, I had to make that decision about what to do next. And it's like, you've got this flood of opportunities and different directions you can take. And it makes it really difficult to decide what to do. So let's talk about that flood moment on today's walk. And I'll tell you about my decision too. Ready? Let's go walking. Hughenden was occupied for at least 11,000 years from what they can work out from local records, local discoveries by the Hughenden people, Aboriginal tribe from this region, and was eventually discovered by Europeans in 1861 by Walker, whose tree we saw just back over there. A couple of years later, Ernest Henry established the kind of first presence here in town. It took about another 13 years for things to really kick off, the town to sort of get established, railway to arrive here and stuff like that. But this is why they thought it was such a great place to be. The Flinders River, longest in Queensland. And it's looking very dry right now. Let's go down and have a look. It's always good to get a bit of trail. Bit of trail running. Here we go. Quite crazy when you think that they kind of founded this town because it had a river running through it. And now here we are. And it's just nothing but sand. And it's like, you know, they have that expression about Australia. It's like droughts and flooding rains. And quite clearly, if you look at the size of this river, that's enormous. It's got to be 50 metres across or 60 metres across. When this thing's running, it's got to be a freaking torrent. Banks have obviously been built up pretty high over here. Droughts and flooding rains. Well, you can tell we're definitely in drought right now. It does make me think though, you know, about how droughts and flooding rains is kind of like an interesting way to describe life in general, right? Like, you think sometimes you feel like you've just got no opportunities whatsoever. Things are tough, kind of stuck in one place, and you haven't got sort of many choices that you can make. You're kind of like in this drought. But then when suddenly things go well for you, you have like this flood of opportunities, and suddenly it actually makes it hard again to make a decision because you just have so many choices in front of you. So it's kind of like life is droughts and flooding rains, just like Australia. There we go. Australia is a perfect depiction of life. And that's why we are the lucky country. Although I must admit, can you imagine what the poor buggers thought when this thing suddenly dried up and they went, oh, actually there's no water here at all. That is as dry as a shearer's pallet. Oh, very dusty. This riverside walk is really quite beautiful. Even though there's no water in the river, it's stunning. That's a public toilet. Holy moly. Sorry, I don't mean to take you on like a tour of the public toilets of Hughenden. Maybe you find that fascinating. It's your fetish, not mine. But look at this one. So it's just like the sunlight's a bit hard to see there, but look at that, the mural. This is extraordinary. Somebody could really paint. That is definitely not a mural that I ever would have expected to find on the side of a toilet. Okay, without doubt, Hughenden has won the best public toilet in Australia award. That's remarkable. Congratulations, Hughenden. Ding ding. I don't know what it is, but you've got all these like plaques to commemorate people. Because there may be important people in the region. Yeah, those ones go back a long time. I mean, I was going to say, maybe they've got a plaque for everybody in the town that's passed away, but it's not that small. 1,000 people. Let's head to the Dogs of War. The town centre is very pretty here. It's like they celebrate the fact that they've got underground water, or they've got water here, because everywhere you go there's like little bits of water. This is also what the town is famous for. Matabarosaurus. It's like a large plant eater that lived in this area 95 million years ago. Basically like a kid in a field found a jawbone. It's like a unique species to this area. Found this jawbone and basically took it home and used it as a doorstop for a number of years. Eventually scientists in the area kind of worked out, found this skeleton, and he came back with this last piece of jawbone. And yeah, Matabarosaurus, I can't pronounce the bloody thing. So it's part of the dinosaur trail, the dinosaur triangle up here in Western Queensland. Winton, Hughenden, and then Richmond. Yeah, so that time at the end of high school, hey? Well, for me, I don't know, I just had all these different options. Mostly it was about going to uni. And you know, whether I went to University of Sydney, where my dad went, or followed my older brother to Macquarie. And you know, I had no idea what I really wanted to do. There were just too many options. Never really thought about going travelling at that point. And in the end, I basically just took the easiest, most logical option, which was just kind of following my brother to Macquarie. He was studying environmental sciences, had done a year already, he was enjoying it. And so it seemed like a fairly safe choice. And so that was it. Just chose to do that. And I guess that's the thing with the flood, isn't it? It's like sometimes we're just overwhelmed by choice. In fact, psychologists have demonstrated that when consumers are presented with too many choices, they tend to like decide not to choose at all. We kind of get overwhelmed. Whereas our brains handle very well the decision between like a small number of items, 3 or 5 or 7 things. Beyond 7 or 8, our brains don't have the capacity to effectively analyse so many options at once. So it's true that the flood of opportunity can be just as difficult to deal with as the drought. At least in the drought, you do what you have to do to survive. It's a bit like now, right, isn't it? It's sort of times with coronavirus going on. You know, I just had to close my business. We're off travelling. After that, I'll have to work out what to do in my life again. But for now, the drought is pretty simple. It's like, just keep following the river. Anyway, whatever you're getting up to today, hope it's an awesome one. Take care of yourself. Drought and flooding rain, they're exactly the same. Thanks for walking with me. See you next time.